The film opens with some bizarre and gruesome rituals, something about moving a soul. Then, we see several women being treated strangely, all while being filmed. Finally, there's mention of a demon named Tarin. After this disturbing introduction, we meet a young girl named Piper, who is almost blind. She can see faint shapes and lights, but not people. Piper's older brother is Andy, who is about to turn 18 in a few months. Actually, Andy is Piper's stepbrother. Their dad was married twice. Andy is the son from the first wife, and Piper is the daughter from the second. Despite this, Andy and Piper are very close. One day, their father collapses in the bathroom and dies, leaving both of them orphaned. Enter Wendy, a lady from Child Support Services. She's the one who assigns them to a foster home. She places them with a woman named Lauren, who used to work as a counselor at the same office. Wendy trusts Lauren completely to care for the kids. Though Lauren only wanted to take Piper, Andy insists he'll be 18 soon and will then apply for Piper's guardianship. Andy and Piper share a safe word, grapefruit. It doesn't really mean anything, a gesture to show trust. So Andy and Piper arrive at Lauren's house and she greets them warmly, but we can clearly tell she favors Piper and completely ignores Andy. For instance, when taking a selfie, she angles it so that Andy's face is hidden. She even keeps calling him by the wrong name, as if she doesn't remember him at all. There's another foster kid in the house named Oliver, who is mute. Lauren tells them she once had a daughter named Kathy, who was also blind. Sadly, Kathy drowned in a pool accident at home, and after that, Oliver became selectively mute. Lauren currently doesn't seem to have a job, and it's possible she's struggling financially. Andy and Piper are given their own rooms. Later, Lauren comes to talk to Andy, and when he gets distracted, she suddenly picks up his phone and starts reading his messages. When Andy reacts, Lauren behaves as if Andy is attacking her, even though he was just trying to get his phone back. We then see Lauren secretly watching Piper closely. Oliver starts behaving oddly and even creepily. Lauren keeps checking weather predictions on her phone, which shows heavy rain is expected soon. That night, Andy notices Lauren taking Oliver into a chamber outside the house. He doesn't pay much attention and goes back to sleep. The next morning, Andy wakes up and finds that he has wet the bed. Turns out, Andy is still traumatized from his father's death, especially since it happened in the bathroom. So now, even the bathroom scares him. That day is their father's funeral, but Andy can't bring himself to see the body. When Piper asks him, he lies and says everything looked okay, he just couldn't face seeing his father like that. Lauren secretly snips off some hair from their father's head. Then she pressures Andy to view the body and kiss his father goodbye. Though it's hard for him, Andy does it. And after everyone leaves, Lauren also kisses the corpse. Back at the house, Oliver bangs on the glass door repeatedly. He even breaks the glass, injuring his hands, and tries to open the outside chamber door. Lauren returns home and tries to lighten the mood by having a little party with Andy and Piper to distract them from their grief. She even lets them drink. The three bond to an extent. At one point, while drunk, Andy and Lauren share deep personal stories. Lauren reveals that she still hasn't recovered from losing her daughter. She says she would do anything just to hear her say, "Mom," one more time. Andy, in turn, opens up about how his father used to abuse him, taking him into the bathroom, turning on the shower, and beating him so no one could hear, but his father loved Piper dearly, probably because she was the daughter of his second wife, whom he actually liked. Because of this lack of affection, Andy used to act out as a kid, doing mischievous things just to get his father's attention. In fact, he once did something pretty serious when he was just 8 years old. For now, Andy goes to sleep. Once he's asleep, Lauren urinates in a mug, then pours it on Andy's pants. Yes, Andy didn't wet the bed himself. Lauren was the one doing all this, trying to mentally torment Andy so she could report that he's not fit to be Piper's guardian. After this, Lauren uses Andy's Face ID to unlock his phone and starts checking through all his personal stuff. Right then, she hears Oliver heading outside. She grabs him and takes him for a bath, and here, Lauren starts saying some really strange things to him. Things like, "I know you're hungry, but don't worry, soon the time will come when you'll be able to eat." Oliver looks at her oddly, and at one point, when Lauren glances into the mirror, instead of Oliver, she sees a demonic figure reflected back. The next morning, Lauren deliberately brings up the idea of doing Andy's laundry, and while talking to Piper, she points out, "Look how Andy wet the bed again." Then she takes Piper out somewhere, leaving only Andy and Oliver at home. Andy has trauma around bathing in that house, so he goes outside to wash up. Later, he tries to bond with Oliver and offers him a piece of cantaloupe to eat, but instead of the fruit, Oliver starts chewing on a knife, literally biting down on it, cutting his mouth in the process. Andy panics and immediately tells Oliver they need to go to the hospital. While helping him, Andy notices something odd. There's a white chalk circle drawn all around Lauren's house. But the moment Andy brings Oliver close to that white circle's edge, Oliver starts resisting and screaming uncontrollably.
Before Andy can cross the circle, Lauren shows up, yelling at him for touching Oliver. She drags Oliver back into the house. Lauren takes Oliver into a private room and starts watching an old VHS tape that appears to show some kind of ritual. It's the same ritual we saw at the start of the movie, where a woman is calmed by rubbing slow circular motions on her head with a hand. Lauren does the exact same thing to Oliver, gently rubbing circular motions on his head. Surprisingly, it works. Oliver suddenly goes calm. She even gives him a chunk of Andy's father's hair to eat, and Oliver eats it. After calming Oliver, Lauren then blames Andy for everything. At this point, we also learn that Lauren is the one who's supposed to report on whether Andy is fit to become Piper's guardian, and of course, she's planning to declare him unfit. Lauren isn't normal. There are a lot of red flags. For example, she has her dead dog stuffed and preserved, showing she can't let go of the past, and since her daughter is no longer alive, it's clear she's planning something dark around that loss. That night, Andy is bathing when Oliver suddenly appears in the bathroom. Andy looks at him, but instead of Oliver, he sees his father standing there. It's a hallucination. His father says something chilling: "She will die in the rain." Andy freaks out, slips, and falls, hitting his head hard. He suffers a concussion. In the next scene, Andy is recovering in the hospital. Lauren visits him. Andy tells her what Oliver, or the hallucination, said, that someone will die in the rain. Lauren's reaction is weird, as if she knows exactly what that means, but she immediately backtracks, saying it must have just been a hallucination. Since Andy's father died in the shower, maybe that trauma is triggering rainy death imagery. Back home, rain has begun. Lauren dances outside in the rain with Piper, and even puts her in Kathy's old clothes, her dead daughter. She subtly starts pushing her agenda, suggesting that Piper should stay with her forever, but Piper, innocently, says she and Andy will be shifting to their own home in a few months, and they'll still come visit on weekends. This changes Lauren's entire expression. She says she wants to show Piper something, and takes her outside to that locked chamber. Inside, in a freezer, is Kathy's preserved corpse. Yes, Lauren has been keeping her daughter's body all this time. She tells Piper to touch it. Piper feels the texture and says it feels like raw meat, but of course, she can't see what it is. Lauren then brings Andy back home from the hospital.
We understand more things. Andy used to work out and take creatine supplements. Lauren noticed this, and may have been spiking his supplements with something to increase his hormones and make him aggressive or unstable. This isn't explicitly shown, but the way Lauren behaves, this theory makes sense. That same night, Lauren does something horrifying. She sprays Andy's body spray on herself. Then sneaks into Piper's room while she's sleeping, and punches Piper hard in the face. Piper screams in pain and wakes up, and what does she smell? Andy's body spray. So now Piper assumes Andy is the one who attacked her. The next morning, Lauren very cleverly pins the entire blame on Andy, claiming she saw him entering Piper's room and hurting her. Andy loses his mind, completely breaking down. Possibly due to whatever drugs Lauren's been giving him, he starts becoming aggressive and unstable. Lauren even tells others that Andy eats and drinks weird stuff. That his testosterone levels are too high, making him violent. She blames Andy's father for it, saying he used to abuse Andy, and now Andy is doing the same to Piper. She's trying to imply that Andy is jealous of Piper. Now, Piper had no idea her dad used to hit Andy, so this was a total shock for her. At this point, even Piper starts believing that Andy might be the problem. After all this emotional damage, Andy is completely shattered, and he drives off alone. Now Lauren's real plan is to transfer her dead daughter Kathy's soul into Piper's body. The ritual from the VHS tapes at the beginning. That's part of the same process. Lauren found those tapes, and started following the instructions. In the opening scene, we saw that the cult members were recording rituals. So Lauren first summoned a demon named Tarin, and transferred it into Oliver's body. Oliver was never her foster son, she kidnapped him from somewhere. That's why Oliver is always quiet and acts so strangely. Because he's possessed by the demon Tarin. Now, Tarin needs to consume the corpse of the person being resurrected, in this case, Kathy's body. That's why Lauren preserved it. Then Kathy's soul has to be transferred into a new host body, Piper, but to do that, Piper has to die the same way Kathy died, drowning in a swimming pool, during heavy rain. That's why Lauren has been waiting for the rain to start, but Andy was an obstacle in her plan, a thorn in her side, so she wanted him out of the picture. A soul remains in the body for days after death. So, Tarin, when the demon consumes someone's body, it also devours their soul, and then, it spits out that soul, into Piper's body. Now Oliver, who is currently possessed by Tarin, was becoming increasingly restless to eat. That's why he kept trying to sneak out to the shed outside the house. Lauren drops Piper off at the dodgeball practice area so she can prepare the ritual alone at home. Meanwhile, Andy goes straight to Wendy's office, where he notices a missing child poster, and that child is none other than Oliver, whose real name was Connor Bird. Yes, Lauren actually kidnapped some random child and placed the demon Tarin inside him. Andy tells all this to Wendy, but of course, Wendy doesn't believe him. She used to work with Lauren in the past and Lauren was considered one of the best counselors there. This tells us that Lauren was once a normal woman, she only recently lost her mind. Second reason Wendy doesn't trust Andy is that Lauren had already filed many complaints against him, including that Andy once killed his own sister. Andy insists he could never harm Piper, he loves her too much. In fact, once when Andy was 8, he did hit Piper. That day, he promised himself he'd never lay a hand on her again. Seeing Andy's emotions and desperation, Wendy starts to believe he might be telling the truth. So, she decides to check out Lauren's house with him. On the way, Andy sends Piper a voicemail saying, "Lauren is probably evil. I'll never hurt you, no matter how much Dad did." Wendy's voice also gets captured in the message, she's consoling Andy. Meanwhile, Tarin inside Oliver is growing uncontrollable. He starts trashing everything in the house, not just food. He's eating tables, floors, anything he sees. Oliver now literally looks like a demon. When Lauren returns home, Oliver attacks her, biting her hand severely. Somehow, she locks him outside and Oliver begins eating himself. Lauren tries calming him by making a blood circle on the floor. Now, a big problem here is, Lauren had Piper's phone and after hearing the voicemail, she learns Wendy and Andy are coming. So she quickly cleans up everything in the house. When Wendy arrives, everything seems normal, but she notices Lauren's hand is bleeding. That bite. So she asks about it. Lauren doesn't have a good answer and suddenly, she snaps, yelling how she must bring her daughter back to life. At this point, Wendy realizes Lauren is truly mentally unstable and rushes outside. Andy shows her the shed. Inside, they find a dead body, and Oliver is eating it. They try to run but Lauren crashes her car into them. Wendy dies instantly, and Andy is badly injured. Lauren drags Andy to a nearby puddle, and drowns him. Then, she takes Piper back home. By now, Oliver, who had eaten part of Andy, speaks in Andy's voice and lures Piper. When Piper touches him, she realizes, this isn't Andy. She gets suspicious because Lauren once said Oliver has red curly hair, but when she touches his head, he's bald. Piper runs and locks herself in the bathroom. Lauren tries coaxing her out by yelling, but Piper refuses.
That's when Piper realizes Andy's dead body is also in the bathroom. This completely shatters her. Just then, Lauren breaks in and reveals her evil plan. She clearly says she wants to drown Piper. Piper tries to run, but being blind, she hits the wall and faints. Lauren drags her to the pool and begins drowning her. Underwater, Piper regains consciousness and surfaces, screaming, "Mom!" Hearing this, Lauren freezes. She feels like Piper just called her mom. In that moment, maybe maternal instincts kick in or maybe she realizes just how far she's gone and in that brief pause, Piper escapes the pool and runs. Lauren, meanwhile, brings her daughter's half-eaten body into the pool. Now, Oliver, Connor Bird, still possessed by Tarin, is ready for the ritual but when Piper flees, he follows her. She runs to the road, where a couple rescues her. As Oliver steps out of the ritual circle, the demon exits his body. The couple alerts the police. Police rescue Connor. He's injured but finally normal. They go to Lauren's house, where they find her in the pool, holding her daughter's remains. She's surrounded and that's the end.